Did you know that I have a uterus? It's out. The link in description is very cute. Just like you are, Felix. Oh my god, Felix. You're so cute, Felix. Welcome to my video, Felix. Oh my god, you're gonna make me blush everywhere. So anyway, good evening, ladies, lasses, and lasses, and welcome to the click. Today we're doing something absolutely amazing. One of my favorite subreddits, Confidently Incorrect. I do hope that you're here for it as much as I am here for you. And remember to subscribe. We're only 15 years away from hitting 10 million subscribers. Would be ashamed to tardy that little Let's go. God, my sales pitch artist. Mwah.
I am a business owner, and I refuse to pay menstrual leave. 1, I can't afford it. 2, y'all can control y'all's cycles.
Ah, yes. Just hold it in and squeeze tight. It's just like pooping, am I right, ladies? Yes.
I know y'all can.
Source?
Do it at home and turn it off before coming to work. Be a professional no matter how bad the pain is. Respect your male coworkers and be nice to customers.
I'm just waiting for someone to have the same arguments for, you know, like suits in summer. It's just, it's warm. Why don't you just hold the sweat in and just sweat it out when you come home? Not that hard, is it? Be professional. A scene of modern Britain played out on the railway replacement bus service in Newport yesterday. A woman wearing a niqab was chatting to her son in another language. After 5 minutes, a man suddenly snapped, "If you're in the UK, you should speak English!" At this, another passenger turned around and explained, "We are in Wales, and she's speaking Welsh." Oh my, that is amazing! I mean, accents are... Why are you doing this to me? I'm in the middle of being funny, stop! I remember being in a gaming group with a Scottish guy at one point in my life, and for the first 2 weeks, other people had to translate what they said, because I couldn't understand it. You know that awkward moment where you say, huh? Sorry, what? For like the 6th time in a row? It gets with yikes. Then I got really good at understanding accents after a while. I got like a hardcore training in it. And then I forgot about all of it.
Whenever your children are claiming to be interested are most definitely only reading 3 words per page, and your desperate delusions are blinding you from seeing their lies.
What the heck are you trying to say? You seriously think children aren't reading Harry Potter?
Yes, 100%. As a grown man...
Okay.
As a grown man is well into the series, unless you got a special short and simplified version. Kids will not be interested unless they realize every page is magic, spells, and unicorns.
That is heckin' ridiculous. I read the first 4 books at age 8 to 9, and so did most of my class in school. They were a huge phenomenon among kids.
And then the pages clapped, and everyone went home and had ice cream.
No, that was literally the norm. I remember I wasn't even big into reading around that age. I still read a good few of those books. I even started reading Lord of the Rings when I was like, I don't know, 12 or something like that. It was good, you know. Time before TikTok, people actually read. I'm sorry, I'm not a boomer. Be nice to me, please. A TikTok though, man. Yeah, it's fun. Check out my TikTok in the description, it's a mistake. Fun fact, QR codes are 80% depleted and will run out around 2025. There can be this many possible QR40 codes. That's an ungodly large number. It is more by far than the number of atoms, quarks, and photons, etc. in the observable universe. Wait, that doesn't look right. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's not enough zeros in the least. What are these two on about? Oh, thank God there's a smart comment. I don't have to do the math myself. They are both very, very wrong. QR40L can encode 8 times 2,953, 23 times bits, so it has 2 to the power of 23,624, or more than 10 to the power of 7,111 possible values. This is greater than the value listed in the tweet by a factor of 10 to the power of 7,100. And there's no particular reason to stop at version 40. Anyway, if we needed to assign 10 to the power of this much QR codes to each and every atom in the universe for some reason, we could just extend it to QR41. Yeah, math scales fast. Big numbers go wow. It still has 79% on the tomatoes. Just saying, Pixar films set a very high bar for quality. To be the worst might still mean it's better than an average film.
It's like saying you just had the worst pizza in New York. It's still better than the best pizza from anywhere else in the world.
Only Americans are self-centered enough to think that the best pizza in the world are not from Italy. No, New York! These comment sections are wild. Why are people even bothering debate it? Who cares? Oh my god. Everyone fights about pizza. Me just wants to know which Pixar movie they were talking about. I assume light shear. Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah, definitely.
It is mathematical proof of God. Tell me why water boils at 100 degrees Celsius and why it freezes at 0 degrees, atheists? Yes, take that, atheist. The metric system was made by God.
Okay. Hear me out here for a sec. Just quickly, I want to grab some of your attention. What about the other temperature scales? Were they made by Satan? I mean, yeah, it would explain a lot of stuff about Fahrenheit. What a goddamn mess. But like, what? Or, you know, maybe it's that humans invent the scales and you know what you're measuring doesn't actually change depending on the scale, just how we interpret it. And we chose to make it easy because it's easier. Man, life is fun, isn't it? The guy is British. He's not African American. He's a black British man.
African Americans is someone who is a descendant of enslaved Africans. He could be African American and British. African American is an ethnicity, not nationality.
What? No, in order to be African American, you actually have to have African and American.
African American is an ethnicity, not a nationality. Search it up.
It is an ethnicity in America. First, Google search says an ethnicity consisting of Americans that were of African descent, British folks that are not American. This is so... we just... Racial debates online, man. It's it's a doozy, isn't it? African American Brit. Yeah, it's just mashing it all together, isn't it? What a beauty.
Get serious. Marijuana has proven to lead to stronger and stronger kinds of drug abuse. Alcohol does not, and alcohol makes people more sociable and sexual. Marijuana does the exact opposite, so what's your point again?
Wow, that's a lot of stuff you just made up there. Impressive. You know, apart from like drunk driving and pub brawls and alcoholism, but you know, Yahoo! It's all about the naughties. Or it's just simpler than that. Most things are just bad in excessive amounts. Even water can kill you if you just drink too much. I'm not even talking about drowning, which would be like the funny joke twist. No, your brain can literally swell to the point where you die if you just drink too much water. Everything is literally bad in excess. It's of course easier to fall victim to these kind of things because they're more addictive and they have more effect on you. But still, everything is bad in excess, more or less, so yeesh, lady.
There is no such thing as greed. Let's use some sense, shall we? I preface this way because the post probably doesn't have a lot of... Let's dig into it together, shall we? If I make a product that costs $1 and I make 10% profit, I make $1.
What? No, you make 10 cents. What do you... Okay.
If the cost goes up $2 with 10% profit, I make $2.
What? But, okay.
See how fun basic math and common sense can be?
Well, the numbers are just all over the place. I'm not entirely sure about the math there. I suppose the logic they're trying to go for is something along the lines of, but if stuff is just more expensive to produce and profit margins aren't increased, the company isn't actually being greedy. I mean, sure, but it's also a very basic calculation example. It's not a source of anything. Like, yeah, it's a case you just made up. I'm not sure how this proves that greed isn't real. If you could instead source this and prove that this logic is applied to every business in the world, yeah, that would prove that greed isn't real or whatever. But that's not the case, is it?
Hashtag melogic.
I want to buy a fedora just so I can tip it and say,
melogic.
Flirtatious science.
Someone just referred to the 90s as the late 1900s and oh my god, I feel so old.
The late 1900s, assuming they said 1900s, would actually be referring to dates from around 1870 to 1899. 1900 onwards is referred to as the 20th century. There's a difference between the late 19th century, 1880, and late 1900s. That is so confusing. I hate that. That is like counting backwards. I despise this logic in general. Gee, in the 21st century. What? Why are we talking like that? What? Who made it up? I don't care what the comments say. I dislike it. The numbers are confusing. Don't bring grammars into numbers. Ooh, I can feel the comment section sizzling already. Oh my.
We make supercharged ionized alkaline water that is too pure to be tested by pH strips.
That's not how pH works. What do you mean? Like, if it has a pH, it can be tested. It has nothing to do with any kind of purity. What are you talking about? Just be like Gwyneth Paltrow and squeeze a lot of lemon in it. Squeezing lemon into your alkaline water is even more dumb than just the idea of alkaline water itself. It's beautiful. Just add acid into this alkaline water. It's got health, trust me. I mean, to be fair, there are some good health stuff with alkaline stuff. For example, there's this alkaline powder that you can buy in the pharmacy. and you can mix it into water and you can drink it if your stomach is too acidic, for example. It's like a very common medication thingy, but I don't think that's what they're going for. It's something completely different.
Especially if you squeeze lemon into it too, just cancel out the purpose in the first place.
Everybody has pronouns.
I don't. I is a pronoun. In order for Shadow to not have pronouns, Shadow would have to constantly refer to Shadow in the third person like a lunatic.
Bruh, I is genderless, so then it isn't a pronoun.
Why are we having these botched grammatical debates online, please? Why?
I mean, if you're gonna try to sound smart by bragging about basic grammar, please get it right, at least. Like, for God's sake.
Homicides per capita, US 4.96 per million per year, UK 3.26 per million per year.
Well, maybe because the population is 4.9 times the size of the UK.
The US and the UK have the same amount of people per million people.
Okay, I'm sweating. Please. I can't start. It's so early in the video. I can't do this. Come on.
Man, that's the best way I've seen explained capita today. I applaud you. There we go. Oh.
As summer approaches, let's normalize not wearing sunglasses and slathering our skin in sunscreen. That is the way to avoid skin cancer.
A curious mind over here. Why not sunglasses? I know the sunscreen, but I've never heard sunglasses. Educate me, please.
Yes, of course. So sunglasses trick your brain into thinking it's dark, so it doesn't send out the signals to your body for it to begin the tanning process, which is the body's natural defense to protect our skin.
Well, I had it in the previous video, right? It's still as alien to me, like, oh, blind people can't get tan, basically. Just close your eyes and the sun goes away. But here's a comment that I've thought made it worth to talk about this. She probably had confused from advice not to buy cheap sunglasses, which is a real concern. If you buy sunglasses that filter visible light but not UV light, your pupils will dilate to let in more visible light, but thereby also allow an enormous amount of UV light, which is not filtered by the sunglasses. This can be really dangerous for your eyes. Only buy sunglasses with proper UV filters. Of course, this has nothing to do with tanning. Yeah, so it might be that they confused it, right? I hope that's the case, that, you know, oh, these bad sunglasses make your eyes open up and go badashki bidoosh, fry, but yeah. No, it doesn't make sense. Close your eyes and can't get tanned. I mean, half of my TikTok comments are basically people discussing whether or not it's racist to say that my Swedish accent sounds similar to PewDiePie's Swedish accent. You know, that's where we're at. Goody.
Why are the police called 12?
Oh, because 911.
Boy, that's 11.
Why?
Social media was a mistake. Here's the thing. I like to think that humanity has always been very silly. We were just lucky enough that the silliness wasn't immortalized until social media came along. And now every single one of our moments where we do the f***ies or we try to do math when we're very sleep deprived, all of a sudden is immortalized. And it's like, oh yeah, I'll be remembered for not being able to do 1 + 1. Nice. I suppose a wholesome twist to this is just think about what you put out there, because what you put out there will potentially be out there forever. Literally. If it is pictures, if it is statements, whatever it might be. Stuff doesn't always age well, which should be excusable, right? If you had a bad opinion, 15 years ago, that should be put into the context like, oh yeah, it was actually 15 years ago, and you're probably just a stupid kid anyway. But the internet remembers, and the internet is not good at putting things into context. Yahoo. Elon Musky Husky, net worth $215 billion.
You can afford to pay everyone on the planet $1 billion.
I have seen this kind of post remade probably 1 billion times now.
If I give every person on Earth 1 billion one of these posts, they could buy a Tesla too.
Bruh, it's Juneteenth. Why did you post?
Because people are still allowed to make videos on holidays?
Juneteenth is meant to be a day where black people can only have the ability to post for the day.
What? As a non-American, can someone explain to me what Juneteenth is? On June 19, 1865, 2 months after the end of the American Civil War, the Emancipation Proclamation was read by Union soldiers in Galveston, Texas. The proclamation freed the slaves in Confederate states in 1863, but obviously the Confederacy didn't recognize it. It took a while to spread the word, so Texas was among the last places to hear it. I don't know if there's any special significance as to why Galveston's celebration became the widespread one. Edit, it was actually when it began to be enforced, as it took a while for the Union troops to be... Yeah, that's... I don't understand what the original post is about. I mean, this is... As a non-America, this is confusing enough to me just out of context, but what? It's a TikTok holiday now?
I am waiting for SCOTUS to outlaw hashtag condoms and masturbation. They don't appear anywhere in the Constitution. Every time a man does the splooshies outside of a jujay, he murders 100 million potential babies.
Obvious sarcasm, but very haha.
Condoms are used for safe naughties. Women do the splooshes nearly as much as men do. You need to educate yourself, cause what you said didn't make sense at all.
Wait, what are you... What?
I'll take a good picture.
The Special Olympics makes no sense. How the Olympics are for the best athletes of the world to compete against each other to determine who's the best. Having our words competing is doing the opposite.
Oh, that's a yikes comments. You know, most kind of these sports and things are constructed in a way where they're fair and we reward effort and performance. You know, you have weight classes in fighting for a reason, because otherwise, like, the biggest, bulkiest dude would just steamroll everyone else and would no longer be about skill or the actual competition. You know, so there are many ways we divide sports into, where how to determine, like, who puts in the most effort and the skill and techniques and etc. Oh, Arnold replied to it. As stupid and evil as this comment is, I'm not going to delete or ban you, yet, because it is a teachable moment. You have two possible paths ahead. Right now, I guarantee you that these athletes have more courage, compassion, brains, skill, actually more of every positive human quality than you. So take their path. You could learn from them and try to challenge yourself, to give back, to add something to the world. Or you can stay on your path and keep being a sad, pitiful, jealous internet troll who adds nothing to the world but mocks anyone who does out of small-minded jealousy. I know what you really want is attention, so let me be clear. If you choose to keep going this way, no one will ever remember you.
Holy shite, Arnie Warney! Wow! Oh my god!
He is right though. I think as humans, it's very easy to fall into these categories where we focus too much on anger and that kind of thing. It's a bit of a side rant from this particular case, but anger is a very strong emotion in humans. Nothing binds us together as much as anger. You can even see this throughout history. Like the biggest coups and shady governments and bad things that have happened have often been with, you know, a typical scapegoat in mind. You saw this, for example, during the 40s, you know, with the big bad stuff happening in Europe, that a lot of it was inspired by the notion of a common enemy. Hatred unites people a surprising amount, and being aware of that fact is good to think about, because it happens all the time, every day, to all of us. Stay aware of, like, the dark side of your humanity. How cheesy that may sound, it's actually true, sadly. A 10-year-old girl is done very nasty things to. The state forces her to remain preggo and tells her to consider it an opportunity. This isn't Iran, this isn't Gilead, this isn't hypothetical. This happened today in Ohio.
A 10-year-old can't get preggo, I don't think. They haven't hit puberty yet until like 16.
Yeah, people hit puberty before 16, especially young girls, but also, no, that's just so wrong. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole because it's so incredibly gross, but I can assure you that the record for someone getting preggo, it's much younger than that. So this is really gross. I want to shower after this video.
Why not send satellite up to orbit the moon and show us where these so-called flags are on the moon? I know why.
That is literally what the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter did. It is in the video that you are commenting on.
No, but then the next step is like, we need to send up a second camera so we can film the first camera so we know that the camera is filming the legit thing. It's just gonna be a chain of cameras.
This is the same kind of people that claim that
if dinosaurs were real, show me the pictures. Show me the selfies the dinosaurs took. If you can't take a picture, it's not real.
And by that logic, none of human history happened either. Yeehaw.
Actually, animals kill and eat each other because we kill and eat them. If we stop, they will stop.
Wait. What?
It is a vicious cycle of madness that started when human killed and ate the first animal 3,000 years ago. Because he did that, the behavior spread throughout the animal kingdom and encompassed the world in evil darkness of death.
Wait, hold on, what? So a random dude 3,000 years ago was just like,
my god, that's a jummy bunny, munch, and then just that created a chain reaction, like some bystanding dinosaur was just like, oh, you can actually eat stuff? And then that just spiraled out of control, the madness of the death world. And before I have any comments, yes, I do know dinosaurs didn't exist 3,000 years ago. I was trying to be funny. I am professionally funny after all. God, this video is going great, man.
They generally add color and smell to dangerous gases so people know it's dangerous. Gas in the house has a smell so you know not to light a flame.
I don't think that's why it smells that way. Oh dear God. Oh, that's a pretty nasty profile picture. How pleasant.
I will get called names and maybe effing ratioed. Oof, the real victim of this world. But ADHD does not exist.
Ah, here we go. Okay, wow.
It does not exist as its own disorder, that is. ADHD is purely a result of diet and hormones caused by your diet.
Wait, it's purely a result of diet caused by your diet.
What? What? Fix your diet and fix your mind.
Yeah, if you stop eating, you will... Wait, so if your diet does your diet, but that's just an isolated little circle that like has nothing to do with... What are you talking about? What? That's so weird. Who needs professional psychology and institutions when you have random dude with homophobic profile picture on Twitter? Neato. A shark in a fish tank will grow 8 inches, but in the ocean it will grow to 8 feet or more. The shark will never outgrow its environment, and the same is true about you. Many times we're around small thinking people, so we don't grow. And change your environment and watch your growth. As someone who has kept somewhat large aquarium fish for a while, this is my least favorite myth, because it's painfully cruel to the fish. Their growth doesn't stop, it stunts, and that's an entirely different concept. Their spines will bend, their chest will twist, they'll be persistently stressed out, if not, I'm assuming, in pain. You'll start to see it in fin rot and color. It's not pretty. If you grow a large species in too small place, you're slowly killing it. I mean, I suppose it still makes sense in the original analogy, you know? I don't think your spine will twist by being around, like, you know, just bad people, but it's kind of true still, but it's also like a pretty bad myth at the same time. The Wall Street Journal. Nearly 150 companies in the S&P 500 say their median employee earned more than $100,000 last year.
Easy to raise the median to 100k when the top dogs are making 7 and 8 figures. Lose the executives for the equations and see how far that drops.
Well, there is a difference between average and median. Median is just a middle number if you count every single person, while the average is all the numbers summed up and then divided. So no, it wouldn't really change that much, I'm gonna be honest. I just heard somebody light off fireworks at 9 AM. Yes, dream is Swedish now. You have a whole butt day yesterday. What the frick happened? Time zones exist! I'm gonna need you to think really hard about this. Maybe they're just living on the very edge of a time zone. You know, if you live on the very line of a time zone, which time zone do you choose? You know, if you're smack in the middle of the Merca, for example, it's like your neighbors to the left maybe are 1 hour behind, so they light fireworks 24 hours later.
The sun is literally right in our faces. You gotta be dumb to believe we could see a sun 95 million miles away. We can barely could see shite that's closer than that.
What do you mean shite that it's closer than that? What?
Keep believing man, and man will always lead you to the blind. The Bible says the sun and moon stars right above the earth and nothing is ever left outside of the dome. All NASA pictures of earth are fake AF. Can you imagine how big earth would be if us humans flew a few thousand feet away from it? Do you really believe we could fit the whole thing in one picture? It's unbelievable what you people tend to believe. Everything we were taught is a lie. Read about it. We are all vibrations and frequencies.
In what way are we vibrations and frequencies? Hold up. I have read the Bible, and it doesn't say we're all vibrations and frequencies. It's an interesting combination of biblical and nuttery of a new age nuttery. It's an unholy mix. I love it. But it's also so strange. Like, what makes you believe that if one source is false, what would make the other one legitimate? Like, what is it actually that makes this source legitimate than another one? It's a strange concept to me.
I want to make this clear, since nobody wants to talk about this. Naughty facts. Number 1, the vajayjay always has a bad smell. No matter how much you bathe or who you are, this is a fact that nobody can deny. Sorry girls, there's no, it's my natural smell shite. Number 2, women have given birth to a baby, her vajayjay is now useless.
What?
The muscles have lost all the strength and can no longer give naughty satisfaction. The vajayjay becomes huge. I know that every single woman with children will not accept this, but it is the truth. 3, if you do the butt naughties with your girlfriend, that makes you gay.
Here we go. Oh man, you kissed a girl. That's so gay.
I know it's controversial, but there's no difference in a woman's butt and that to a man's. Having naughties with a man should not be a problem for you. In fact, you want a man's butt more, because it's less spacious than a woman's vajayjay. Deny it. And no, I'm not an incel. I have full naughty experience with many women.
As these facts have proven, my sample size is outrageously huge. My own naughty experience is basically a scientific study in its own right. I mean, the last one is just like an opinion, but it's a really bad opinion. It's a weird opinion. The second one is just false. And like, what are you even talking about? Please, sir, for the love of... No.
Leftist, you can't not have pronouns. Everyone has pronouns. Also leftist, I'm asexual. What is it? You're
Why do you write this so confidently? Oh my god.
Man, this video is a treat, isn't it?
Any glober that thinks they can answer, try. If 72% of Earth is covered by ocean and the sea is level, that can't happen on a ball. How can a Navy railgun shoot a target 100 miles away? That would be absolutely impossible unless the Earth was flat. How they shoot something 100 miles away that shouldn't be visible because of fast defeat the curvature? I bet no globe monkey can answer that.
Globe monkey. That's the kind of thing that sounds... It's not a I mean, they're trying to do it as a slur, I guess. It sounds like it should be a slur, but it's also just so ridiculous.
Let's see how smart globe suckers...
Oh, there's a new one.
Let's see how smart globe suckers think they are. Explain the Navy can shoot a railgun 100 miles and hit a target.
Well, you see, because gravity is a thing, maybe that's something we disagree on too, but most things that go pew, you like compensate for it. So stuff doesn't go completely straight. It goes a little gay, or curvature, if you will. So, you know, if you shoot something with a cannon that's really far away, you compensate for it. It's like, pew, pew. So hence, you could theoretically shoot over the horizon if you like. I mean, we have compensated for that kind of stuff forever. Like, even early artillery and stuff like that, or even things from World War II, you actually had the curvature as part of your calculations when you did high-precision targeting with various artillery or military pieces. This is models and calculations that have been part of science for a really long time. Why do you think everything shoots in a straight line? That doesn't even make sense. There's air resistance and gravity. What?
If something can withstand a flame and not even burn or melt, it's not going to be edible or digestible. Stomach acids are strong, but this is not something to experiment with.
Sodium chloride, not safe. As you see, salt is not flammable. Ethanol, safe. Ethanol burns well. Sometimes comparisons can be good. Like, you know, rocks aren't particularly digestible. Like, sure, it applies, but not when it comes to everything and every chemical. It's not the same thing.
Jesus was American.
Oh, yes.
Whilst I don't agree with it being propaganda, the chemicals used in pads and tampons have been proven to extend period cycles and pain experience.
Source?
You first.
I didn't make a claim. How am I meant to provide a source for that?
Precisely. It's easier to be an naysayer.
What is that? That's not a gotcha moment.
Is that... Exactly. Yeah, if you didn't say no, you wouldn't have to argue with me. And then nobody would need a source.
I'm assuming in Facebook culture, a lot of laugh emojis means that people aren't agreeing with you. I suppose that's the case here. It is much easier to earn an extra $10,000 a year than trying to cut your annual expenses by $10,000. Making an extra $10,000 a year is just $833 per month, $192 per week, or $27 a day. Anyone can do this as a barista, Uber driver, pizza delivery, etc. But most won't, because of their ego. You hear that? Stuff is getting too expensive. Just have more than one job. That's the life everyone wants, right? Weekends? Pfft, who needs that when you can work 80 hours a week? Woo! There isn't even baby formula on the shelves.
Just give them regular food our ancestors did and not have formula, and they made it work that way with what they had.
For today's lesson, we'll talk about historical infant mortality rates. Oh, yeah, that's a little bit of a doozy, isn't it? I mean, our ancestor made it work. Like, I mean, sure, they made it work through a lot of stuff. They survived the plague as well. Not particularly well, but, you know, that's not an argument for why we shouldn't do better today.
Need an abortion, try the COVID vaccine.
What? There are so many layers to this, and they're all really out there. This is like a really bad onion. You said heat exhaustion deaths were way up. Show us the numbers.
The sun starts cooking the vaccine in your blood. There's no way to get rid of it. We'll be there until you die.
Vaccinating in the summer is the same as microwaving your cat. Confirmed by Facebook.
First off, CERN has been conjuring demons, and y'all have been helping them, talking to them. You all know the ancestors are the demons that y'all have conjured, and they have. Let's not forget some of y'all took the COVID vaccine that altered your godly DNA.
Well, that's amazing. So if I take the DNA, I can vibe better with the demon summoned by CERN? That sounds like a good vibe. What are those emotes next to your name? Kissy 100 Fist Son. What does that even mean? Is it just quirkiness?
When you sleep with 30 people, you will lose your vajayjay print.
My what?
There's a print inside the vajayjay like a fingerprint.
What the actual who says that?
Read about it. You will find it.
Not in a scientific paper, for sure.
Try to research and get back to me with the results.
I mean, I've heard a lot of misogynistic shit in my life, but this one takes the cake.
What do you mean? And the absolutely funniest thing about all this, if you've ever worked a lot with your hands, or you sandpaper a lot of stuff or do rough things without gloves, your fingerprints will be kind of like snishy, snishy, snishy. Your skin will be a little bit scraped. But it comes back. Most stuff grows back. Why doesn't that apply in this case? Why is this? It's kind of like fingerprints, but only one time. It's like plastic. If you rub it off, it's all gone. What is this useful? Criminal investigations? We found a vajuje print at the scene. Investigators are really creepy. What are the most insane misconceptions you've heard on the female reproductive system?
There was this forced meme on Reddit about a year or two ago that vajunas don't get looser with use.
It's broad daylight at 8 p.m. in October in Detroit. I call BS. Literally right next to the timestamp it says it's October the 7th, lol. In America it gets dark around 6 then.
Hey, doofus. They put that day before the month over there. This was freaking yesterday. October 2022 has not happened yet. Well, that's also the first hint. The dates are scrambled the wrong way, but also, it's the future.
Your definition of religion isn't correct. Also, atheism does have rules. You aren't allowed to be critical of Darwin or other free thinkers.
I mean, of course you are. That's like the whole peer process review, and he was heavily critiqued back in his day, like holy poo. But, alright.
If an atheist says Christian groups have a right to do after-school programs like anyone else, they get ostracized. There are more rules, but you don't see it because you're in agreement with a religion. It doesn't matter to me that if you don't believe in God, but it's disingenuous to think that atheism isn't a religion.
I don't know what that means. But, I mean, sure, some people take that kind of stuff almost as a religion or some kind of belongingness or whatever you want to call it. But some of the stuff you said is simply not true. Like the whole, if you want to do the whole science thing, because Darwinism or whatever this is the case, stuff like that is always heavily scrutinized when it comes out. New ideas and peer reviews and blah, blah, blah. You can disagree with things, I suppose, but that's more like your opinion. You can't just say, oh, I disagree with evolution, all of a sudden it's true. Like, you can have a hypothesis that, no, I don't think evolution is true, and then you have to test it. That's the whole point. I feel like people often conflate what opinion and fact is. Like, you can have an opinion about something. You can say, oh, I don't like Darwin. That's perfectly reasonable, Maybe you don't. It's up to your choice. You can think someone is a douche. But when it comes to facts, you can say like, oh, the sky isn't blue. It's like, well, now you're just factually incorrect. It's not in your opinion that the sky isn't blue. There's a difference between opinion and subjective experience and actual singular factual points. I feel they often get conflated. 17 celebrity kids who chose not to follow their parents' footsteps. The Rock is an actor, but the daughter is a wrestler. The Rock was never a wrestler, so this top list is really good.
You are unfortunately blind and don't understand science.
Name one accredited peer-reviewed study that confirms creationism. Seriously, just one.
The Bible.
That's it for today, kids. Robot, I was not created by a human being. I evolved from a vacuum cleaner. I think my point is clear to the reader. You see how vacuum cleaners aren't evolving in front of us? That means that... Martin Luther died 319 years before the KKK was a thing. The first Klan started around the Civil War. Read a book. That timeline is just all kind of scrambled.
Sitting on his face, riding cowgirl, and any other naughty position with the girl on top are acts of homo-gay.
Is that a scientific term?
Well, the man assuming a submissive naughty position falls into homo-gay activities, and reciprocally, the woman assuming a dominant position falls into lesbianism.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be like something
lesbi-gay or something. I don't know.
The terminology is just mwah. How many posts have we had in this video? We have at least 2 posts I remember that basically are having naughties with women as a man is gay. This is amazing. Like, gosh darn. Beautiful. We're evolving backwards.
That wouldn't be evolving. There's a word for it called degeneracy, degenerate.
It's devolving, Mr. Know-It-All.
Alright. There is no such thing as an invasive species of bird. Do you know why that is? Because birds can literally go whenever they want. They fly.
I see where you're coming from, but you're extremely wrong, my dude.
The uterus have literal chambers for sorting the male splooshies for later. It doesn't really matter when you're inseminated. Your body can still fertilize an egg during the fertile widow using old splooshies. I am a biomolologist. I got my degree from Facebook.
On the level, flat earth fact and heliocentric fantasy. Globe debunks itself, laughy emoji. So here is a triangle. Oh, I see. Okay, so if it's actually round, the measurements wouldn't make sense? Is that the point here? I guess. I mean, also a fun fact if you want to look at something truly fascinating. Most maps we have aren't actually 100% accurate. They are weighed for what I assume was considered like the important parts of the map or whatever, something like that. So certain parts of the map are much bigger than you think they are and vice versa. It's kind of cool. You can Google it, like, you know, actual accurate maps. It really changes your perspective. So even if you try to prove something like this, you would have to use one of the original maps, so to say, or one of the accurate maps. Not one of these ones.
Oh, it's a picture. Bonejaw.
What?
Bonejaw. Are you dumb?
Huh?
It's French for hello, dumbass.
We're back to some bone apple tea. I love this. Oh, this is such a throwback. Beautiful. I guess bone jaw is kind of like a, you know, jawline, kind of like, yeah, hey, you got a good facial shape there. Mwah, bone jaw. Well, laddies, lorkers, and horkers, I do hope you enjoyed this beautiful video as much as I enjoyed having you here. And I do hope you have an amazing rest of your day because you deserve it. And I will see you in the next video. Take care. Mwah.